South Africa faces a critical economic juncture. The country is grappling with a substantial budget shortfall, projected to reach 300 billion rand. This is a significant increase from the previous year's deficit. Adding to the strain is a burgeoning national debt, with the debt-to-GDP ratio predicted to hit a worrying 75.5% by the end of the current financial year. The combination of these factors paints a stark picture of the economic challenges confronting South Africa. The government is under immense pressure to find ways to bridge this fiscal gap and avert a full-blown economic crisis. Failure to do so could have dire consequences, potentially leading to credit downgrades and limiting the government's ability to provide essential services to its citizens. The situation demands decisive action, but the path forward is fraught with difficult choices. The urgency of the situation is compounded by external factors as well. Global economic uncertainty and potential policy shifts from major trading partners could further impact South Africa's economic outlook. The country is navigating a complex and precarious economic landscape. The need for a sustainable solution is paramount. South Africa must find a way to balance its budget, reduce its debt burden, and foster sustainable economic growth. This will require a multifaceted approach that addresses both the immediate fiscal challenges and the underlying structural issues hindering the country's economic progress. In a bid to address this pressing economic situation, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has proposed a controversial solution: a 1% increase in the value-added tax, or VAT. This proposal, if implemented, is estimated to generate an additional 25 billion rand in annual revenue for the government. Proponents argue that this measure, while undoubtedly unpopular, is necessary to stabilize the nation's finances and prevent further economic deterioration. The VAT hike, however, is not a magic bullet. It is a blunt instrument that carries with it significant social and economic ramifications. Critics argue that increasing VAT will disproportionately burden the poor and working class, who spend a larger proportion of their income on essential goods and services. This regressive nature of VAT has sparked widespread debate and opposition from various quarters of society. The proposed VAT increase has ignited a firestorm of controversy, with many arguing that it will exacerbate the already high cost of living, particularly for those struggling to make ends meet. The potential for social unrest and political backlash cannot be ignored, as the government walks a tightrope between fiscal responsibility and social equity. The debate over the VAT hike highlights the complexities of economic policy making in a country grappling with high levels of inequality. While the need for increased revenue is undeniable, the choice of how to generate that revenue has far-reaching consequences that extend beyond the realm of pure economics. Cosatu, South Africa's largest trade union federation, has emerged as a staunch opponent of the proposed VAT hike. Their stance is rooted in the belief that increasing VAT will place an undue burden on the working class and the poor, exacerbating existing inequalities. Cosatu argues that the government should explore alternative avenues for raising revenue, focusing on measures that do not disproportionately impact the most vulnerable segments of society. Central to Cosatu's argument is the regressive nature of VAT. Unlike progressive taxation systems where those with higher incomes contribute a larger proportion of their earnings, VAT impacts everyone equally as a percentage of their spending. This means that a low-income earner paying the same VAT rate as a high-income earner effectively contributes a larger proportion of their income to the tax. This disparity, Cosatu contends, is unjust and economically unsound. Moreover, Cosatu argues that the VAT hike will fuel inflation, further eroding the purchasing power of ordinary South Africans. They point to the potential for a wage price spiral, where increased costs of living lead to demands for higher wages, which in turn could drive up prices even further. This vicious cycle, they warn, could have a devastating impact on the economy, particularly for those living on the margins. Instead of resorting to a VAT hike, Cosatu advocates for measures that target tax evasion and improve tax compliance. They argue that closing loopholes and cracking down on illicit financial flows could generate substantial revenue without placing additional burdens on ordinary citizens. This approach, they believe, is not only fairer but also more sustainable in the long run. The heated debate surrounding the VAT hike underscores the urgent need for alternative solutions to South Africa's fiscal woes. Critics of the government's approach argue that a more sustainable and equitable solution lies in tackling tax evasion, improving tax collection efficiency, and curbing wasteful government spending. One of the key proposals put forth is to strengthen the South African Revenue Service, or SARS, and empower it to more effectively combat tax evasion, particularly among wealthy individuals and corporations. By closing loopholes and cracking down on illicit financial flows, the government could potentially unlock billions of rands in lost revenue. Another area ripe for reform is government spending. Critics point to instances of wasteful expenditure, corruption, and inefficiency within state-owned enterprises as drains on the national treasury. Streamlining government operations, promoting transparency, and ensuring accountability could free up significant resources that could be redirected towards essential services and social programs. Furthermore, there is a growing chorus advocating for a more progressive tax system that shifts the burden of taxation towards those who can most afford it. This could involve revisiting the structure of income tax brackets, introducing wealth taxes, or exploring other forms of progressive taxation that ensure a fairer distribution of the tax burden. The path forward for South Africa requires a delicate balancing act. The government must address its fiscal challenges responsibly while safeguarding the well-being of its most vulnerable citizens. Exploring alternative revenue-generating measures, enhancing tax collection efficiency, and curbing wasteful spending offer a more sustainable and equitable path to economic stability and prosperity.